my mum died, and that sent me into a bit of a mental health crisis. And then shortly after that, my boyfriend felt that things weren't going that well and he couldn't support me, which led to us arguing quite a bit, which again didn't help my mental health. And then I was drinking more and becoming quite reclusive, I suppose, and internalizing everything. So we split up, which didn't help. And what I used to do to sort of help myself was I would go out of the house and there was a canal where we lived. I always felt like it was quite peaceful on the canal. And I'd met a few people at sort of festivals that I'd been to, and they were always talking about how great it was to live on the canal. And I found it really peaceful and it really helped my mental health. Started chatting to some of the boaters, and there was this older guy who was just really nice guy called Davey. And I was sort of chatting to him about how the community really looked after each other, and it just started to appeal to me really. And then I ended up getting a little bit of money because of my mum passing away, and all of her affairs and everything got tied up. And I had been getting some sort of counselling, and when I talked about the canal, the counsellor said, sounds like it's a good place for you to be. Your demeanour changes when you talk about the canal and being in nature and the people and everything and the kind of rhythm of the life. So I put the money into buying a boat, which Davey sort of helped me with. And that really helped because I had something to focus on as well, and there was a lot to learn. And then I ended up getting another job in a residential home as being a sort of a carer, which also helped focusing on other people and helping them. So then I was feeling a bit more happier and stable and socializing with my new friends on the canal, but sort of drinking in a different way that was much more sociable and less, using it as a crutch, I suppose. So that was brilliant for a while. But then Davey always, liked to drink like a lot of people do. And unfortunately, one night he was coming back from the pub and it seems like he must have slipped and fallen in the canal and hit his head and something. And his body was found the next day by another one of our friends. So that was a real shock because he'd sort of been quite an anchor for me. And that sort of brought back all of those issues again around sort of loss and being depressed. And so I went downhill again and started drinking more for the wrong reasons and sitting on my boat a lot and isolating myself and kind of just hiding. And if people knocked on the door to see if I was all right and checking on me, then it's easy to kind of pretend that you're not there or you're asleep or something and just don't open the door. I wasn't going to work then. But then, some of the people from the community that I knew really sort of came after me and said, look, we're concerned. Davey wouldn't want you to be like this. They encouraged me to try and get some more help. But this time I found it really harder because I was on the boat and I didn't have a home mooring. When I first moved onto the boat, I was not really moving around so much. So I did get a few kind of emails from the Canal and River Trust about moving. And obviously I wanted to stay sort of near my job. But the main issue then became that because I wanted to access services again and I had to move around and I didn't have a permanent address, it was pretty impossible to get referred to support services and to be able to get to the meetings. Sometimes it was quite far away from where my boat was because I started to move it again with the friends on the canal. They sort of supported me more really than the services at that point because I just couldn't access those, and it kind of brought me out of it again. And I've got another job in a residential home which is part-time, so it's not too much stress, and because of where I'm moving around, there's better transport links now so I can get to and from work. And summer's on its way, so I'm feeling much more positive. And the drinking that I've been doing lately is much more balanced, I think, and more normal. And now the weather's nice, people are drinking outside and it's very sociable. So it's all feeling much more positive for the future.